This was a rehearsal I haven't seen in years.
Oh my God, yeah, that was back in the day. So when I met Mark in Vegas, we got really close. We talked and everything. We hit it off really well. Eventually, he moved to Los Angeles, and we connected again. And I know there was footage of him just recently that he was locking in his alley. That's where we used to practice if we
Yes.
wanted to do or something. So we would always, me and Mark would always get together and practice. Boogie, I met at the clubs. There were three main clubs.
Valley.
Yeah, in the San Fernando Valley, there was the Ozone, Tapestry.
Yep.
And
Yep.
all the dancers would just converge on these places. And
Yeah.
at the Ozone, there was a big dance floor, and then there was a little stage. So
Yes.
we would all dance. Our club would be dancing, we would dance, and then everybody would go to the little stage and practice. Then there was a mirror on the big dance floor where we would practice. So that's where I met Boogie. And I'll leave it at that. And go ahead, Boogie. Go introduce yourself.
Okay, well, that's probably more accurate than my memory, but I do remember meeting you in the nightclubs. Ozone, yes, that place was frequented by us. We would go there and it was like an energy, an energetic magnetism in the air before we went into the club, because everybody's excited to like do their stuff and just get in there. So by the time you got us in, it was like, yes, a free for all. So I enjoyed the freedom of just being able to dance and nobody said anything. Everybody let you do your thing. The Ozone was a cool place. That was a very cool place, I have to say. And I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. I hope that I met Mark during that time. Maybe at the clubs, I'm not sure. But Mark, can you remember where we met, me and you? Because I remember you from the Valley.
Yeah, well, we definitely met in the Valley. Richie introduced us. I don't remember. I don't remember the exact location. Yeah, but I'm sure Richie introduced us.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, guys, I was watching this the other day, and I hadn't seen this ever. I mean, since we did this, and I said, "Oh man, that dude in the middle is tight." For real. I was like, boy, they're tight. Yeah, this one is special. Yeah.
So go ahead,
Yeah.
Mark. Talk about how you met us, I guess.
Please, you. I'm watching the video.
Yeah. So yeah, Richie had come to Vegas, and at this particular point in time, the brewery was the spot in town. Through the years, it was different hot clubs in town, but the brewery was the spot. And then when we went to LA, we went to the La Hot Club. I guess that was a happening club in the Valley at the time.
Yeah.
And what I liked about Richie's style, I mean, it had that. For lack of, it had a people have an issue with it. I mean, it reminded me of Chain Reaction. Okay, and I first got exposed to Chain Reaction in let's see, I'm trying to think. I think it was either 1980 or 1981. I saw the Lockers on Soul Train back in the 70s, and I loved them from the get-go. Wanted to dance like that. Was going to the clubs, and I grew up in upstate New York, Albany, and I could move pretty well, and I was funky, but I couldn't lock. And this is like one of those things that's kind of crazy. It doesn't make sense. Like, I just thought, if I go out to California, I'll meet these guys, and somehow I'll watch them. Maybe they'll show me stuff. First of all, what would make me think I would find them? Second place, why would they show me anything? But I quit my job and went out west. And I was going to go by myself. A buddy, he had a friend in San Diego. So he said, I'll go with you. But I was going to go by myself because I just had to learn how to lock. And well, we're in California, you're so close to Vegas, you got to go to Vegas. So trying to make a long story short or longer, there was I'm trying to think of, I think the club was Rumors. Anyway, they had a dance contest. They had several a week. And in this contest, first of all, I thought I was going to be the first white guy to do it. I didn't know there was other white guys doing it. And some white guys locking. And who's in this contest this night but Shabba-Doo? And he didn't lock at all, but he was whacking. We called it punking back then.
Yes.
Never seen it before. And I thought, oh my gosh, this dance is bad. And there was
Yeah.
some other guys in the club that were punking, a few, and some girls too. I'm like, that's it. I got to move here.
Mhm.
Gotta move here. And I couldn't sleep that night. I literally couldn't sleep because, here I'm seeing, guys locking like in person and seeing this new
Yeah.
dance punking. And so eventually wound up moving out there. And okay, so here's the thing too. I had to go back to New York for a bit. Kids these days have it so good. You've got YouTube videos, you've got tutorials, you've got workshops. We had none of that back in this is 1978. You had none of that back in the day. And nobody would show you anything anyway because contests paid pretty good money. And it's like, well, if this guy gets good, he might be taking my money. So
Yeah.
I bought a Super 8 video camera. And I filmed. It was Sundance and Cracker Jack in this locker, Ricochet Rabbit outside the club. I couldn't take it in the club, and then I took it and I watched it over and over. And I'm trying to emulate the moves, and I'm working on them. And then when I got to Vegas, there was this guy, Machine Gun, and he was a local locker. And here's the thing. I'm from this mindset, like being comes before doing. I dressed like a locker before I could lock. It was like in my mind, I'm a locker. Okay. And I'm dressed like a locker. I'm sitting at this booth. This guy comes up to me, Machine Gun. I didn't know what the time goes. He hits a move like that. And I go, and then so we go out in the foyer, we start talking, and he's hitting some Skeeter rabbits and he's showing some stuff. And I told him, my story. He said, I'll show you some stuff. So I already had basics just from watching the videos, but it's like he's going to show me some more. It's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And so anyway, I looked up because I had met Sundance and Cracker Jack when I came out the first time, and before I went back to New York for a bit, and so connected with those guys in town. Well, there was this guy, and Richie, you probably know him. His locking name was Scooter. His name was Mike, and he did some stuff with Chain Reaction. Maybe just hung out with him. I don't know. He wasn't a member. But anyway, he came to town and he was doing the double, double timey points, and he had that Chain Reaction feel, and I just loved it. I just loved it. And then he brought with him, a tape of a videotape of Chain Reaction. We watched it over at Cracker Jack's. I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are so bad. Yeah. So I was like really. Of the Vegas lockers back in the day, I was the one that really embraced Chain Reaction style of locking. The other guys were more the tight stuff, which I like too. Because actually, and here's the thing too, like with my locking, and it's evolved over the years. And I'm a natural mimic anyway. I do impressions, and I would emulate the style that I saw. And then when I first got there, they go, "Oh, you lock like Bop." Sugar Bop, as opposed to Sugar Pop. And yeah, I mean, I kind of emulated him, not consciously. It's just like it's a osmosis kind of a thing, And so anyway, but I really like the Chain Reaction style, and that's my how I basically started the street dancing. Popping wasn't really out yet. I saw the Boogaloos on, I think it was a show called Kicks that Jeff Kutash had. This was 1979. And I thought, it's good, but it's not locking. And then in 1981, I saw him at a rehearsal studio on La Cienega Boulevard. And I saw the Boogaloos in person, and they got down to LRJ Pop by General Kane. Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was so bad. So anyway. That's my intro into locking, and then hooking up with Richie. I was like, this is cool, man, because here's a guy that does that has that flavor of that style that I like. And then for a while, that was kind of like my flavor. And then I know when I first met Richie and some of the guys from the Valley, they said, "Wow, this guy locks like Panda." I guess I had some of the funkiness. I guess some aspect of it.
That Fred Berry part.
And again, to put it all together now, it's when I met Boogie, I met Mark, we were locking, and at that time, I wasn't dancing in a crew really. we were hanging out with dancers. So when you see like us doing our locking routine and you see all these guys in the background, we had a bunch of friends that were b-boys and poppers. They weren't really good lockers, but they were really into popping and breaking.
Breaking, right.
Right. So we decided, what the hell, while we were practicing, let's put some stuff together. So we didn't have a name, and I don't remember who came up with it. It definitely wasn't me. I could say
We
that.
all did.
It became energy, the word energy, but then NRG, and we cut it short. And they were talking about this, and we were friends. Now, let me go back real quick. The first group that I ever saw lock was Chain Reaction, like Mark.
Wow.
And he saw the lockers. I saw the lockers on TV. I saw a rerun on shows. I didn't know what the dance was. And again, I started locking in 79. As soon as I saw it, and like he said, when I saw Chain Reaction, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I would go to the clubs, and I remember I asked them basically, can you show me some stuff? And they were like, no, we don't show people how to do that. That put a little thorn in my side. So where did locking begin? Where did it start? And I knew it was in Compton and South Central, a lot down there. So I started going down there to watch and learn. And that's where my battling started, because the only way I was going to learn is call people out. When it would come out, I do like more. I would try to mimic, but I try to remember what they're doing and then go home and practice it. And we always had these practices. So, when I met Terry and Jazzy and Anthony, Mark and Boogie, everybody would come over and we'd all practice together. And then when I left Dance Connection, and I think Terry gave that story, which is true, we did a show, and me and Delvin took too much time, and Terry lost it. He was so mad about it. And Terry actually came up to me and said, we want to dance professionally. Is that something you want to do? And I said, no, I don't want, that's not my career. I'm a therapist. This is what I do for a career as well. So my thing is, that dancing wasn't the career for me. It was my hobby and my passion and my love. So they went on to do their thing and became the LA City Rockers and became famous for that. Me, I just kept doing it on the DL, in the streets and the clubs and stuff.
Hold on, wait. We made Energy before I got into the Rockers, because I was waiting for them to ask me to get into the group, but they didn't ask me. They were like, nah, we don't want no girls. But when I got with you guys, they were like, oh, Boogie, would you be interested in being in the Lockers? I remember that distinctly. Yes, we performed.
Right. I didn't want to go, that's not my thing. You were a dancer at that time. That was what your love was. All of you guys wanted to dance for a living. I don't think that was Mark's, I'll just say from what I think, I don't think that was Mark's idea either, that he wanted to be in shows and movies, that he wanted to have a career of it. You can answer that question. Is that what your dream was or passion at that time?
My passion was to get good at the dance, wherever it took me. So, I was definitely down for that. Interesting too. So, then we had our group together and we had routines together. And then Breaking 2 came out and they had the audition. You're at UCLA, so you can't go. Boogie had a private audition. It's like, I'll go by myself. I think it was like 1,500 people call. And it just so happened, and I believe we'd have gotten it anyway, but it just so happened we were there at the same time. We said, let's do a routine. And they liked it. So and we both got in at the same time.
So again, Dance Connection. After Dance Connection broke up, Terry and them went and did the Rockers. And we all started dancing together. And then an opportunity came up for this show called Solid Gold. And all of us together, we made this like 5-minute routine, I think. We did a lot.
So long. I knew we changed it. I knew it. I was like, wait a minute.
It was really long. Then after the locking part, Rick would come out, and rest in peace. He'd come out and do b-boy stuff. Then the poppers would come out and pop, and it was this whole big orchestrated thing. And when we did the audition, they only liked us three. And they said, what was it, 30 seconds? A minute?
30 seconds, I think.
So, and they said, we just want you.
And it was fast.
30 seconds. So we went back in and took that routine, was probably 2 minutes long, and we broke it down to 30 seconds. and then we got on the show, and I remember, now we weren't judged. We were being judged by judges for the competition and stuff. We messed up in the audition part, but we did really good in the show part. I think we did better in the show. but we were already.
We didn't know when they wanted us to dance before the judges behind closed doors. We didn't know they were judging. They said, "Well, if you're gonna do, we'll just say, triple backflip, whatever. Just call it." I didn't go to the floor or anything. So we're not going all out on the routine because they just told us to mark it. We didn't go all, and because as soon as we got done, they'd already they judged us back there ahead of time.
Okay.
So I remember that we were upset about. We were like, wait a minute. We didn't know we were being judged because we were just, as Mark said, they asked us to mark it, see where we are, stage ourselves, space ourselves.
Right.
I think our spacing, we actually did the show. Our spacing was great. We were, we did really well. I wish we were judged on that part. So that's how we got together with that. And then the B-boys and the poppers didn't do it with us. That didn't. Now, let me say this more above the dance. All of us have been friends for at least 40 years. At least 35
years. Yeah.
And I'll say this. That's one thing. Our friendship with all of us was always more important than the dance. No matter what direction we went and all that stuff, our friendships lasted. I mean, even though Terry and them went on to do the Janet stuff, I wasn't sitting home going, damn it, I should be doing that with them. No, I was so proud we did that.
Yeah.
When they did the Rockers, made the other I was like, get it, guys, and the Puma Force. And please do your thing. And I sat back and enjoyed it. That's how energy got created. Again, just a friendship and just giving us a name to audition for the show. We really didn't do shows after that. That was the only time that we ever auditioned for something and went on and did it. Otherwise, our friendship was more important. The group was just the name for that.
Yeah, but I do remember when we did come up with the name, it was positive, Yeah. It was like up. It was like energy. We're energy. We are energy, Let's give the audience some energy, I loved it. It was great.
I can remember we interchanged members sometimes because I remember we got a gig with Robinsons for several shows. And do you guys remember doing the Robinsons gigs?
Yes.
Robinsons.
The store, like Macy's, but it was called Robinsons.
Huh. I don't remember that one.
We're getting old.
We don't have any footage, right?
No
footage.
Today, where you could break out your phone and film it, and like what Tornado Mark said, we didn't have video cameras access like that, and the video cameras were huge at the time.
Yeah.
So carry that, and in the bad neighborhoods we would go to, down in LA and stuff, you bring a camera, you're leaving without it. Plain and taken from you. So we didn't do that. We just went to the club to have fun. And we danced. That was our goal, to love people and do whatever. The battling aspect was more of my thing. Mark would jump in a circle, but Mark wasn't a battle person. He was around it. I don't remember battling. She would. If there was a circle, she would hop up and get her thing. I think that's where my love was. It wasn't the shows. I wanted to be in the circle to try to be the best and battle the best.
Exactly right.
The Vegas dance scene when I got started was different. I mean, it was a contest. You picked what I actually like it better than what they do now, but this isn't this was then, because then you showcased. You could make your own tape. You could put in dubs and Wayne Ward was great with that. The crescendo, because I mean it was a show. But of course, he was in LA, he wasn't in Vegas. But anyway, so you pick your best song, and you give it to the DJ, and you did your thing, and it was contest. I didn't really see the battle aspect till I got to LA.
Hey, I want to have a shout out real quick to Margie. Remember Margie?
Yes.
Richie? You guys remember her? I think she turned into a cop. Yeah, and wherever she is, hello to you, because she supported us and she drove and she used her car to get us from place to place. So love you, girl. What were you saying, Richie?
When I went to Vegas, and this is Mark will remember this because it was really funny. We went to a show to see the City Break Force.
Okay.
It was a b-boy crew, but they did some locking in it and stuff. We were in the audience, and I remember they were performing, and I was sitting talking shit. And then I remember when you think you could do better? And Bucka remembered this. Do you think you could do better? I go, yeah. And I hopped up on stage, and we jumped up on stage, and we battled them right in their show. It was but it was
love it.
Yeah, it was an organic thing, and it was just a great. We became really close with them. Don't know what happened to them. Yo, much love to the City Break Force. I think that was exactly. So Vegas, what's up? When I came to Vegas, I went to what was the name again? Sorry,
the brewery.
I went to the brewery. I want to battle, and I heard about the Foot Lockers, so Mark knew I was on a mission. I was going to find them. And I did battle one of them. Smokey Jr. was his name.
Who's that?
That's the first time I heard the song "Numbers" by Kraft.
Oh my God!
And I lost my mind. So
badass song.
And so I think I introduced Mark more to the battle aspect, or Mark would always be, all right. I'm like, no, so I was that way. But I think, just again, we really love the dance and we love the clubs, and that's the difference with today. We, everybody goes to workshops and everybody goes online. We were in the clubs, dancing and locking, and that's where our love was. Just dancing and being around the crowd and vibing.
Yeah, it was comfortable. Yeah. It was like family, right?
Yeah,
like brothers and sisters, hanging out with your brothers and sisters. Yep. It was a connection, a good connection. It's so good to see you guys.
Here. Here's the thing too, and I'm of course, I'm from a same era but a different place. You're the more of the the battle circle thing. I just love dancing in a club. I remember going to the club you were DJing. Was it in Westlake? Where'd you DJ, Richie?
Everywhere.
All right. Well, anyway, that aside, and I literally, actually, I ruined the shirt. It was a really nice shirt, but it had I sweated so much in it, sweated so much in it. But I just danced all night long. I would just get down in the club, feel it, enjoy myself. I'm not. It's just me. Like, you're in a circle, and and Richie's different mentality, obviously. So it's like, you got to do your best stuff. I got to show my stuff, whether it's 30 seconds or 50 seconds or whatever it is. And it's like, I just want to get down and have a good time. And in the midst of that, I am getting down, but I mean, it's more enjoyable for me. But that's just how I'm wired. But I can dance literally all night long.
Yeah. Billy Goodson was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned something that I used to do religiously, and that is take a bag of extra clothes, because we would go to the club and we would dance and get all sweaty, and then we'd hit the bathroom on stupid songs. We'd hit the bathroom, change our clothes, get dressed up, and then go back out, and then sweat through those clothes. Because it's a process. We didn't go out to just hang out and look at people. We went out to rehearse. We went out to practice. We went out to look at other people, doing their stuff, and just, that's what we went for, rehearsal, practice.
There were so many talented dancers when we were young, all in one place. No matter what club we went to, there was just a stack of talented people. So it was just this thing where we shared. Yes, I had the battle mentality. Before the club dancing, I'll dance all night too. It was just sometimes things would happen and things would ignite and we would battle. But otherwise, like Boogie said, we're like brothers and sisters, and we all shared with each other. And it was just, the club scene was the greatest. And I think that's what I miss about the 80s the most.
That feeling, it was great.
Club scenes, when you look at today, it's dance studios or battles. If you go to a battle currently or whatnot, you go to the freestyle sessions or what, everybody's standing around. There's a circle, but the music's great. They're not just dancing; they just stand around all night watching, and it's like, let's groove, let's get down. So, if you want to throw on the footage of us on the stage at Solid Gold, go ahead and talk about that if you want.
Hey, what was the group that we danced with at Magic Mountain?
Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady crew. Hey, Rocksteady crew, shout out.
Much love.
Gotta say shout out to them.
That was the original Rocksteady crew.
Yes, it was.
Away. Two of them passed away.
Oh yeah, I heard about.
Yeah, I can't remember Kiriaki and somebody else.
God rest their soul.
Yeah,
Yep.
rest in peace for them. Yes, but that's where we met them, and I've kept my friends, a lot of them over the years. So
yeah. And I guess and was it the Rocksteady crew that did Fast Forward with me? Because I know it was some breakers that I had danced with you guys that were in that movie as well, or in behind the scenes or something. But I remember seeing them and going, "Hey, Boogie, we remember you," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we kicked it on on the stage together." Yeah.
It was a smaller community, especially with the b-boying. The b-boying at that time, Rocksteady was the main crew. So they were traveling around, and that's where we met them. We were blessed to share the stage with them, which was great.
Yeah, really. And shout out to those guys.
And they were blessed to share the stage with us, I think. But again, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, no matter whether they're from New York or California or whatnot, the dancing was the connection with all of us.
Oh, here we go. Hey, that dude in the middle is tight.
He's bad. Get down.
Man, those outfits were bad. What happened to those? Didn't Bonnie make those outfits, Mark?
Bonnie made those.
Oh my gosh.
Did an awesome job.
She was fantastic. So that was back when I was just fresh from jazz class. And that move that I did, that double spin, was a Patsy Swayze move. Patrick and Patsy Swayze move in jazz class. We had to, develop the style of the teacher, and that was her move. That little chug thing was her favorite move. But yeah, when I see that, it reminds me of Patrick and Patsy Swayze, those guys, because they have a definite style.
It did that. She went out to solo and did that pirouette thing. Me and Mark ain't doing no pirouette, so we were like, let's time it. That will hit a split when she finished.
And I'm not doing what you guys did either.
We did that, and it just looked beautiful. You came out and did your thing, and we were in the background doing that. It was a cool little routine for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? It was so fast. Wasn't it fast, guys? They like amped it up. It was really fast.
Jump is a kind of quick song where normally we could go extra fast. We could have went faster, but
that's the thing too. I mean, I think the other guys that we danced against got whipping. But anyway, they got Jump is not a funky locking song, but we worked.
Right. Good. I was questioning that as well, but it's, I guess, commercial. They needed that.
Give you what they
I don't know.
Doesn't matter what they give you. You still have to dance to it, and
that's right.
Today.
Right, and feel it.
Oh yeah, if he plays a song, you dance to it. No complaints.
Yes, absolutely. You've been busy. What are you doing, Mark? What are you up to these days?
Well, right now it's a little bit of a sabbatical. Helping my my son with my 2-year-old granddaughter, and she's such a blessing. She's my youngest grandchild, but yes. And I'm also working on my quote unquote act with the singing impressions, some dancing.
Nice.
I dance, so.
Where can people find you or connect with you if they're interested, Mark?
My Facebook page for now.
Okay, and tell them your name, what, and your email or whatever it is. Under Mark. Yeah, well, the M as in Mark Golden Pipes at AOL.com, which I heard is AOL anymore. So, which is weird. It's like you got your mail, and then it's like you switch it after a while. I don't know, but I still have. But they can find you on Facebook, right? Never changed it. What's up? And Richie, where can they contact you?
I'm on Facebook, so it's
on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. So
Instagram, I'm on Instagram too.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Instagram is locker.richie.rich.
Okay, good. You hear that, everybody? You can contact Richie and Mark if you have any questions or if you need any services or dance classes, whatever you guys are doing. That's awesome. So I want to call Stu back in. Where are you, Stu? Do you hear me?
There he is.
Here we go.
There we did a small something in Detroit. when I was staying there with the Detroit Lockers guys. I found the Detroit Lockers after 10 years. They just come, this guy, Stu kind of found them and dusted them off and said, hey, Boogie, look what I got. I was like, oh no, we got to hook up. So we went and we hooked up a little bit, and it was fun. And it's interesting because we immediately, when I walked in, I don't know why I did this, Richie, but I walked in and I was like, okay, you guys, let's do this. 1, 2, 3. And everybody started doing it. So we all like started dancing right as soon as I walked in the door, and I was like, you guys will work, you know? But it was interesting to do locking moves with somebody else who knows the same locking moves, but different style. Same count, same beat, but a different style. And Detroit is interesting. They're more relaxed with it, you know? But I think they're more into like tricks, you know, like doing tricks, you know, from back in the day, that kind of thing, which is refreshing and interesting. So I had fun with those guys.
One question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Richie. Richie, go for it, brother.
I was going to say the tricks we stopped doing. Well, I stopped doing. I can't do that anymore. I can't jump off the stage anymore and hit a 360 split or do knee drops anymore.
Yeah, it wears on the body.
But I could still lock. I could still fully go out and lock. The tricks, they're very limited. I could do but that's it. Go ahead, Stu. Sorry.
Well, I'm so very happy to get all of you guys together here because I mean, Laura and I, we talk about locking all the time, but Mark and Richie have been a massive part in my locking history. So it's beautiful for us to make this circle. But you know, one thing that I wanted to really ask you guys is, back in those days when you were there and you were cutting it up and you were hot, did you actually differentiate what you were doing as another like flavor from the lockers? Like, I mean, Richie, you've branded Valley style. I mean, maybe you might want to like expand upon that. Is because, I mean, is there a separation between chain reaction style and Valley style? Is Valley style chain reaction style? And like, at the time, what did you consider it something like as a branch away? Or, I mean, please, if you wouldn't mind, like
I'll say this. Let's go to the beginning. When the Lockers locked, if you watch any of their shows, they were very limited in routines. They didn't do routines. They weren't routine-based doing shows. They would do stop and go together. They would sit in the chairs and do this together. But otherwise, it's more solo. When we saw Chain Reaction, and again, I saw Chain Reaction before I saw the Lockers, Chain Reaction did routines. Very, very tight, amazing routines, very technical. So I would say the Valley style, if that's the term I coined it, that was the root of it. That the Chain Reaction way of being technical and routines, I would say that's the root of the Valley style. I think later, when a lot of us learned that there's more to the dance than the technical, there's actually a dance under it, there's a technique, and then there's the dance, and you have to put them together. And I think that's what we realized that we were doing wrong, believe it or not. We were very technical. We were very good at routines and stuff. We really lost that locking flavor for us. So I think the originals had that. I don't think Chain Reaction had that. My opinion, and I think we expanded on that, and then we created our own sequences of moves. And locking is locking. So let's get this clear. When you say Valley style, Orange County style, Japanese style, old school style, the word flavor, sorry to tell you, did not exist in the 80s like that. We did not say, oh, he's got flavor. That was a hip hop word created a little later for me. So when I saw someone lock, and even Boogie said it, the Vegas guys locked, she said the Detroit guys have their own style. She didn't go, they have a different, because flavor is not the word we use. So when we say style, locking is locking. If you brought the Detroit guy to me, the Japanese guy to me, Orange County to me, whoever, we're all locking. We say style. You want to call it flavor? Call it what you want. That's your preference. There's not right or wrong, and that's a lot of there. What's right? You have to do that. No, I don't have to do anything. What I have to do is, that's like locking, pop locking and popping. So a popper's going to say, you can't call it pop locking? No, that was their culture. That's what they call it. And I'm going to come along 20 years later and say you can't call it that? Sorry. and let's go into the phase right here. There's a big controversy, not a controversy, there's a push now to call locking Campbell locking, as opposed to locking in respect for Don. And I heard that. I think that's a great idea. My idea is this. There was only one Campbell locker, and his name was Don Campbell. He was the only one who did that. He was the only one who really had the true essence of this dance and had his moves. When everybody else started to copy him, they weren't no longer freestyling anymore. They were copying his flavor, his style. I wouldn't call them Campbell lockers because they don't have that essence that he did. I would call them lockers.
That's a great point.
To Don, out of respect to Don, he is the only Campbell locker that exists in my mind.
That's a good point. Great
That's
point.
Respect for him. Everybody else are lockers, but you can call it what you want. There's no right or wrong. Yeah, if you want to call it Campbell locking, I understand what it means. If you want to call it pop locking, I understand. Want to call it popping, I understand. You call it what you want. That's your preference. There is no right or wrong in this dance. That's my. And go ahead, Ed.
I mean, that's hip hop. And you know who I think epitomizes that is Mark. That like really Mark. Like for me, there's no one who can lock like Chain Reaction and LA City Rockers, but also can lock like the Lockers. Like for me, like Tornado is the one locker out there that can do both as strong. You know, so I always take my hat off to you, Mark. Like I see you out there going to events and battling and really like still putting it in. You're the inspiration, sir. Thank you.
Bless. Thank you. Appreciate that. One thing with me, my styles change, and I think part of it is I am a natural mimic, a chameleon, so to speak. So I'm influenced by different styles and subconsciously. And here's the thing too, and like there's some styles that I can emulate, but it's not as good on me as somebody else. Like there's some I feel more than others. Some I could do the moves, but I may not feel it as much. I've got a friend and a good dancing buddy from Vegas back in the day, one of the best all-around dancers. His name's Jimmy. Never really had much of a street name, but we know him as Jimmy. But anyway, he was telling me one time, and I get it because he's a natural mimic like me. And he said, bro, this sounds funny and it sounds egotistical. He said, bro, just pretend you're me. And that doesn't work for most people. This is crazy, but this is how I'm wired. There's some times where I hit a move, whether it's punking or locking or popping, and I'll hit a move and I'll see the face of someone. When I hit that move, I see the face of someone who does that move like that. That's just how I'm wired.
Really?
And here's the thing too, like my friend Jimmy, and I mean, I love his punking style, whacking. And anyway, he's a natural mimic, and so sometimes when I'm punking, I squint, and I notice he squints, and he's a natural mimic, and he himself after Sugarfoot. So it's like, we're doing a torch, and like we're kind of squinting a little bit, but it didn't do it on purpose. It just came out that way.
Right. By the way, I have to say, Mark, you are one of the best whacker punker men that I've ever seen. You really embody it, and I think it's wonderful. I would love to see you mimic me or Flame. That would be great. But really, he's one of the best men that I've seen that feels natural doing that. And yeah, you can't touch that. You know, he really feels it. He really feels that. He's in it.
Then it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy for lockers because, you know, first of all, most lockers don't punk and whack. But I gotta say, man, I love it as much as I do locking, and I love them both immensely. I mean, I really do. And then some days, like, you know, I'm jamming at the house. Some days I feel like more like punking. Some days I feel more like locking. It's a really different feel. The locking is just, you got that joy. You're feeling funky, and then the punking and the whacking is it's hard to describe, but it's great.
Like a release, like freedom, you know, like.
The dancers seem to be a lot more connected back in the day. Like Popping and locking definitely, but it would seem that almost most of the lockers did a bit of punking back then, whereas these days everything seems to be very much like in its own section.
I think like in the past probably 15 years, if you notice that there are a lot, and I'll say what for for Japan and China and stuff, if you watch some of their competitions, a lot of the ladies will come out and lock, and they will start going in some whacking into locking. So I noticed that they do that a lot.
Yeah,
that's their thing.
For some reason, it's close. Like for some reason, it's a close because you're throwing arms, locking, you know. But when you're whacking, it's like you're making it flow. So locking is it's regimented. You have certain set moves, but in whacking and punking, it's just like a freedom of, letting it go. And that's what feels good to me, is being able to let all that energy go, out, So
here's the thing for me. I'm a feel guy. So now there's certain songs that work better for punking, popping, or locking.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, I want to feel the song, but also, Richie's from a different school, but like a lot of the street dancers from Vegas, we had a certain style of dress. And, sometimes the 40s look, not always a zoot suit, but pleated pants, just a certain look. And, but there's some outfits that are great for punking and whacking, but it's not, like if I'm popping, I'd rather have a shirt out. Like if you're doing a boogaloo roll, there's a wave to it. So it's like to find that perfect outfit, depending on what I'm going to do in this particular song, how I'm going to interpret it. Am I going to lock? Am I going to pop? Am I going to whack? Here's the thing too, and this is just me. And everybody's got their own style, and I got it. I like a line of delineation. If I'm locking, boom, stop, bam. And then maybe I turn around and then go into the whacking. I'm not doing it. I'm not locking and then whacking. I mean, there's a separation to a degree. Even if I'm going to pop, maybe step out and then bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? But just there's a division. There's easy for me to say, or maybe not, a dividing line, so to speak. But that's just how I feel it.
So, Mark, we have a comment here from Sabrina King. She says, "I so remember you, Mark, at the brewery, rumors and on set break into Electric Boogaloo. You were definitely someone to compete against. Although we'd never met, I knew you were." And I love your locking style.
Oh, very cool.
From Sabrina King. Thank you, Sabrina.
Nice. Hey, Sabrina, thank you.
There was so many good, it's kind of funny in a way, because we think of LA, because LA, I mean, really, for street dancing, was the capital of the world for street dancing back in the day. But Vegas had a very, very great dancing, great street dancers. I mean, and a lot of them are kind of obscure to a degree.
When I went to Vegas, all these guys wanted to be in shows, like they wanted to perform on stage. So when I saw them, it was more of a show thing. They didn't have the street thing that in LA. No. So when I went to Vegas and when I met Mark had that appeal to be on stage, like the Jeff Kutash dances and all that type of stuff, and who was it, the Dancing Machine and things like that. I was not into that. I didn't like that at all. I mean, they were doing locker, but I was like, what kind of locker is this? They ain't got no street in them. It's just an empty shell of doing the moves. My opinion again. So I didn't like that much, but more power to them. They did their thing, and their dance scene was huge. They had lockers and punkers and whackers and all that, B-boys. So Vegas had a very strong scene, but to me it was a street scene. It was more of an entertainment scene.
Well, here's the thing too. You got to remember Vegas, because you had the lockers would perform in Vegas, so they had so you had the local people there seeing the lockers in person, and so that influenced. And then Dancing Machine performed there a lot, so that influenced the local street dancers. So and then there was some, some of the street dancers, because you didn't see them all, Richie. I mean, there was some that, I mean, I don't know. You saw a few, but you didn't see them all. And there was this guy back in the day. My gosh. For his punking, and I just vaguely remember him. His name was Cicero, one of the best punkers ever. And but nobody knows him. Wow.
I never heard of him.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Got something special, man.
Richie, you're really involved with the current battle locking community. So you got your finger on like the hot spots. Like so where in the United States would you say that cats are still like bringing it, and internationally?
Well, there's a lot of pockets. There are a lot of lockers in the United States. There are many crews. You've got the guys in New York, Philadelphia. You've got Detroit, L.A. It's not a battle scene. Like when they have practices, they call them exchanges. Hey, we'll go and meet together and exchange. That's not a battle thing for me. It's just people practicing together. When you see the battles, a battle is in a circle, sorry to say. As soon as you put it on stage, it becomes a different animal. When the crowd's not judging and there are judges, then it loses that battle thing, because now you still have to put on a show. So yeah. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think in the world there are true battles anymore. Those, in my opinion, happen organically in a hot spot, in clubs, at jams.
Yeah.
Call out each other. But
right.
True battles, there are true battles in popping. I see that a lot. There's true battles now in freestyling in a house.
Right.
Locking I don't see locking as popular as it used to be anymore. I remember them canceling at the UK Championships. They canceled the competitions at the Summit and the sessions in America. They stopped doing locking competitions because it didn't have a lot of support. Like when they say, "Oh, there's a locking competition," you could see this at the jams. Everybody leaves the room at that given point. But when the popping comes, it gets packed. So it's a shame that locking doesn't have that same power that it used to. I won't say that it's the community's fault. I just say that there's more love for more of the current stuff that's popular. It's the same thing. In the 70s, locking was the most popular dance. So everybody mimicked it. It was on Soul Train. Everybody did it. When popping came in, everybody loved popping and moved to popping. And everybody started popping. And then all of a sudden, b-boying came in, and everybody moved towards the b-boying. And locking is the first street dance, and then the other ones took precedence. And it wasn't until, and by the way, I said this in the Valley Style video, locking never died. It just didn't have the popularity, and it wasn't in the media anymore. You didn't see lockers on TV or doing Schlitz commercials anymore or anything.
Right.
Lockers were gone. And even if you look at the movie Electric Boogaloo, when you see Shabba-Doo, he doesn't really lock much. You see him popping more and break and b-boying more. So even him in the movie didn't present locking in its full thing. And yeah, you see him having a locking battle, but then they started to pop and b-boy and whatnot. So I think that even took a lot of the jet fuel behind it and took it away. But in other countries, if you go to a competition here in America, anywhere, maybe at best, maybe you'll have 30 lockers in the competition. For God's sakes, you go to Japan or you go to China, you have hundreds of competitors coming up to battle to enter the competition. Sorry, we'll take that battle out of it. So there's a big difference. I love how internationally they really picked up the culture and the dances that we do here, and they do them there. So I would say the other countries are more supportive of odd dance styles. I wish that locking would have that in the United States. I think it's coming up again. I think it's starting to rise a little, but then at the same time, I see it dropping. So it all depends.
But what we need to do is we need to figure out, when can we all get together in a nightclub and we like jam like it's supposed to be like back in the day. We've been talking about LA City Rockers reunion, but like whatever you want to call it, I definitely think that we need to like put it on the books and we need to like do it like it needs to be done. Preferably on the West Coast.
Oh, that would be great.
It's not in a club.
That would be great.
You could always come to the dance studio. I got my mirror.
Like a reunion.
Yeah, but like I said, that would be amazing. I'm not DJing. I was looking at DJ at
old school reunion
for 20 years, but I'm not working in clubs anymore. But that would have been a great place to do it. So.
It was a pleasure having both of you. I love you. Last words, guys.
Love you guys. Glad we stayed in contact.
Love you too.
It's hard to believe it's 40 years.
You're part of my past. You're still part of my present. Love you both. Miss you both. Hanging out and dancing together for sure. Continue to do what you do. I still do what I do. So hey, I'm around.
Yay! I love you guys both. Please take care of yourselves till we see you again, and hopefully it'll be soon. We need to have an OG reunion of all of us that we know that know each other. Just come on back home, everybody.
Richie's gonna want to turn us out.
Didn't call it battles back then. That's exactly what Mark termed it. Let's go turn him out. That's how we considered. That's what we used to say before we battled. We didn't say, "Hey, let's go battle him." They would go, "Yeah, I'm going to go turn that guy out."
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's how it was.
Yep. And they flavor today. We called it different things, just so you know. But thank you for putting us all together again and bringing back the rockers and just to get.
I love you guys forever.
All
right. See you soon, guys. Bye, Mark.